In this video, we will go over the 20 master plots of Star Wars, inspired by Ronald Tobias. The quest of any story is something the hero is searching for, whether that something is internal or external. Maybe joined by a companion to help along the journey as well. So for Luke, it was all about finding his family's truth and discovering a bigger world that he was born to be a part of, as well as being a catalyst for the Chosen One prophecy to be fulfilled by his father Anakin, who was hidden by Vader. The adventure is very similar to Quest, except for the focus is more on the action rather than the development of the hero or story. So for instance, we could use the Battle of Hoth as a great example of just a lot of action for action's sake that doesn't have a whole lot to do with the quest of the movie for our hero, Luke Skywalker. Pursuit. Exactly how it sounds. A person is being chased by one person or multiple persons and must find a way to escape. A great example of this is the old-fashioned trench run from A New Hope, as we have multiple TIE fighters chasing Luke and his team of X-Wings, as well as Vader, who was on their tails. Luke was able to escape with the help of Han Solo, blasting Vader into space. In Rescue, it involves someone being captured, and what better example than Leia being captured by Vader, only for Luke, Han, and Chewbacca to come to the rescue and escape through the trash compactor.
I'm Luke Skywalker, I'm here to rescue you.
Escape. Escape is the opposite of rescue, where the hero or group of heroes must escape the captor. This may also be followed by a pursuit while escaping. An example of this would be Rey and Finn in The Force Awakens when they are on Jakku escaping the TIE fighters of the First Order, coming to find BB-8 in the hidden map of Luke Skywalker. Revenge is someone seeking retribution against a person or an organization. One example of this is Darth Maul, who was abandoned by Palpatine after his presumed death, and Maul, now abandoned, seeks revenge on Sidious for finding a new apprentice, and will do that by generating chaos within the criminal underworld. The Riddle. The riddle is something that the audience must figure out before our hero does, something that doesn't have a plain answer, but one that can be looked through many points of view. The best riddle in Star Wars was in Empire Strikes Back when Luke goes into the cave in Dagobah and finds his riddle. The riddle is that if he doesn't complete his Jedi training, he could easily fall to the dark side when facing Vader and Palpatine. Rivalry is when two people, either friendly competitors or fierce enemies, go against each other. One rivalry in Star Wars is Obi-Wan versus Anakin on Mustafar. They were brothers before one was turned to the dark side and became a sworn enemy to the Republic. The epic battle ended with one being transformed into one that was more machine than man. The underdog is the one side that is expected to lose, and the other side is expected to win. A clear example of this is when Rey faces Kylo Ren on Starkiller Base. We know Kylo Ren has been trained in the ways of the Force, and should be our obvious winner. But when Rey, who is the underdog, having no training in the ways of the Force, pulls the upset victory over Kylo Ren with a slash to the face as the world splits in two. Temptation is being tempted to do something that is diminishing to their moral state. The battle is often internal. The best example of this would be Anakin, who has been living a life of doing good things, but bad things just keep happening to him all around him, making him think twice about what he's always known, the Jedi, and gets manipulated and tempted by Palpatine to save his wife from certain death. All was a trick, but Anakin fell for the temptation and became Darth Vader. Metamorphosis. Typically, our hero is literally being transformed into a beast of some kind or some kind of spiritual form. The greatest example of this is when a Jedi becomes one with the Force to become a Force ghost. It has often been seen that a great sacrifice must be made of themselves for another in order to obtain this kind of metamorphosis. A Force ghost is becoming a part of the cosmic force where you have no attachments to the physical force anymore. A great example of this is when Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader on the Death Star, when Obi-Wan becomes a Force ghost to guide Luke on his quest to become a Jedi. The transformation plot leads to change of a person in some kind of way, often driven by unexpected circumstance or events. After setbacks, the person learns and usually becomes something better. An example of this is Luke in Return of the Jedi, as he has learned from his mistakes and become something far more powerful, a Jedi Master. And when he faces Vader again, he will surely be ready. Maturation. The maturation plot is a special form of transformation in which a person grows up. Anakin, during Revenge of the Sith, seems like a totally different person compared to 3 years earlier. They say war changes a man, and it sure does. The entire time of the Clone Wars, Anakin had a few times where he had to grow up. Anakin became married. He had gained an apprentice, and lost that apprentice, and fought a war where he lost many friends and allies. Love. The love story is a perennial tale of lovers finding one another, perhaps through a background of danger and woe. This example is family love, because in the end, it was Vader's love for his son, which reminded him heavily of his wife Padme, which led to Vader throwing Palpatine down that reactor shaft and saving his son from death. It was also Luke's love for his father Anakin, deep down amongst Vader, that he was willing to die to save his father from continued evil. Luke sensed this light that was within his father and was willing to give everything up for him. I mean, if that's not love, I don't know what is.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
The story of forbidden love happens when lovers are breaking some social rules, such as an adulterous relationship or even worse. The example I am sure everyone is thinking about is Anakin and Padme. Anakin was not allowed to form possessive attachments. The Jedi Code forbid marriage and having children, unless in the wake of a species extinction. Anakin, who fell in love with Padme at the age of 9, was obsessed over her for really his whole life, even when he turned to Vader. In Sacrifice, the nobler elements of the human spirit are extolled as someone gives much more than most people would give. Han Solo, and his sacrifice to his son Ben Solo, aka Kylo Ren. When they are meeting on that bridge on Starkiller Base in The Force Awakens, Han doesn't know what's going to happen, but knows that death is a possibility. Han sacrifices his life to instill in Kylo that the light that he's always had inside him is still there. Leia also sacrificed her life to save her son Kylo from continued darkness by reaching out with the Force across the galaxy and spoke to her son one last time. In the end, Kylo Ren would become Ben Solo again. The Discovery plot is strongly focused on the character of the hero who discovers something great or terrible and hence must make a difficult choice. The best known example of this would be Luke versus Vader on Cloud City, when Vader chops off Luke's hand and reveals that
No, I am your father.
Luke choosing to let go and die instead of joining Vader and the dark side. In stories of wretched excess, the protagonist goes beyond the normally accepted behavior as the world looks on, horrified. The example that comes to mind is Vader versus Luke on the Death Star 2 when the final battle has just finished between the two, and Palpatine is convincing Luke to join. Luke has just cut off his father's hand and was ready to deliver the final blow. But Luke, who is teetering with the dark and the light side, in those moments takes a step back and throws his saber down and says, "No, I am a Jedi, like my father before me." In the Ascension plot is a character most oftentimes a protagonist or antagonist getting redeemed. The example of this was Kylo Ren ascending to become Ben Solo once again. He makes a choice to join the light and help end his reign of darkness with the sacrifice of both of his parents. Descension. In the opposite to Ascension, a person of initially high standing descends to the gutter in moral turpitude. Anakin Skywalker being the best example of this, of becoming one of the best Jedi to ever live, only to become one of the worst Sith to ever reign on the galaxy. Through this video, I hope you've been able to analyze and detect the common themes and motifs of storytelling as told by Ronald Tobias through the lens of Star Wars. Star Wars has a vast array of themes for storytelling and never fails to reuse those themes in different points of view.